Thank you for staying with us. This is the AM show. We're nearly done, but recall that last week we brought to your attention that the Ghana Institute of Engineering was doing a project and they had launched it some few days ago. They have actually provided for an ultra-modern for alternative dispute resolution center, where if you go, I recall that when engineers came, they were all touting that these are engineers. And so when you go, it's not just a regular facility. But this morning, we're joined by Engineer Ludwig Annan Hesse, President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering. Thank you, President, and congratulations on that beautiful project that you have launched last week. I know that it's not just the ADR, but as well you had an e-library as well inaugurated last week, some few days ago. How was the event generally, first of all?
Oh, the event went very well. We were honored to have the acting Chief Justice to grace the occasion to open the center, and also the President of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, Engineer Rufilwe Buthelezi, came from South Africa to also join us in this feat.
Okay, that's nice. Congratulations again. For those who missed that interview last week and probably haven't heard about it, tell us about the ADR, the Alternative Dispute Resolution Center that you have launched.
You know, we as engineers or engineering practitioners are involved in a lot of projects, engineering projects, and they come with contracts, and contracts are relationships, and we know that relationships always can evolve into difficulties and problems. And so normally in the contract, you want to have processes resolving conflicts. So basically, we've had a long history of helping to resolve conflicts as an institution, because in a lot of contracts, they would name our institution as the point of call to help resolve institution, even informally, when we didn't have this center. And we've done this creditably, and I'm sure it's because of the way we were doing it that government, especially government organizations, even private organizations, kept referring to our institution as the one to name an arbitrator, to name what they call an adjudicator.
A mediator, okay.
A mediator. So this has been going on for the years, and we thought that we should formalize the practice so that we'll have a proper ADR Centre, which is working independent of the institution.
Okay.
So we've set up a limited by guarantee company to do this business of ADR business, and now we are training people to be able to man and also act as adjudicators, mediators, and arbitrators. And
these will be engineers as well that you're training?
This will be engineers, but again, disputes are disputes. They can be engineering or non-engineering.
Okay.
And we are positioning ourselves to be able to cover both.
Okay.
So the people we train are also just not the engineers or the engineering practitioners, but we also train anybody who wants to be trained. And eventually we are going to list the people who will be on our arbitration list, mediation list, adjudication list, and it will be published. So you know the people when you come, the basket from which people will be selected to handle your case in advance. And these people will not be just engineering practitioners.
Mr. President, though, contracts, I see contracts nearly everywhere, whether small projects or big projects. Is this to suggest that for the engineering sector, disputes are quite common? And what would be the reason why you'd have certain disputes quite common?
Well, these disputes are common in all contracts. And in the construction sector, just like any other place, they are also there. But you know, construction also comes with a lot of money and a lot of investment. So when the disputes arise, the cost of the disputes can be high. And that's where the risk lies. And they can involve in delay in projects and excessive cost. If you look at government, a lot of government projects, they end up, a lot of them end up in disputes because of various reasons, in terms of project preparation, overloading the project, variation orders. All these things come in, and at the end of the day, there may be disagreements.
Right.
And new governments come and they don't continue on the old government projects, and the projects slag, and people feel disgruntled, and then they go to arbitration. And we've had very huge arbitration costs awarded against our government, and I'm sure there are still some cases out there. And sometimes these cases go out, when they're international contracts, they go to London, Paris, or something to be arbitrated. We are positioning ourselves that we can also do it in Accra here.
Okay.
That's why we're setting up this center.
And so for the one that you have just set up would be the first of its kind in the engineering industry, even in Africa, or what?
Yes, I would think so. So far, no other African country engineering organization like the GhIE has set up such a center, from what our president was saying when she was here. And also in Ghana here, in terms of professional institutions, probably this will be the first of its kind. The Ghana Institute of Surveyors, they also do arbitration like we were doing previously. They even have rules for doing the arbitration, but they've not set up a separate organization independent of them to do this and do this in the very concerted way.
The judiciary has said that they've welcomed it, as you have said, and they've said that it at least will help fast track some of these arbitrations and all of that. But what does it mean, at least, in the delivery of justice in this country?
Well, we know that when you go to court with your case, even when you go with court for a land case, it can take 20 years to finish. And there are some contractual issues in the court which are taking so long to deal with. And the court themselves have realized that ADR processes offer faster and more friendly ways in which disputes can be resolved. So the courts themselves are encouraging the ADR systems. And the courts have previously referred people to go to GhIE and go and see if you can resolve your problems. So that's why the Chief Justice was upbeat on this, because it's something they themselves have been promoting. And there are a few arbitration centers in Ghana already. We are not the first in Ghana. We are just the first as a professional institution that thinks that we should promote the work of ADR.
But how will it work hand in hand with courts?
When you are constructing your contract, the contract will have clauses for dispute resolution. For instance, in the typical construction contract, there's somebody who is called an engineer. The engineer supervises the project on behalf of the client. Now, when he makes decisions as far as the contract is concerned, and his decisions are binding in accordance with the contract. But if the contractor disagrees with the decision of the engineer, then a dispute has arisen. So the role of the engineer first is to bring the client and the contractor together to see if they can resolve it amicably. If they are not able to, then they go to the next step, which is called adjudication. So the contract would have named an adjudicator. They will go to him. But his decision is not legally binding.
Right.
But it's up to the parties to accept. If one party does not accept his decision, then they escalate it.
Okay.
So then it goes to arbitration. So the contracts provide for this. But sometimes some of the cases are such that this thing ends up in court. And the court thinks that go back through ADR processes and you resolve your problems quicker. So a lot of our contracts, big contracts, already provide for these processes within the contract.
Right. What
we are saying is that we have positioned ourselves to be named to handle these cases right from the word go.
Many find it difficult to believe that the ADR resolutions do not carry the same weight as the decisions from courts would have carried. Have you come across such worry?
Now we have a law in Ghana. I don't know what the reference is. But we have, I think, ADR law, which provides that decisions that have gone through ADR process have the weight of...
And the center is going to ensure this?
Yes, the center is going to. So once you go through an ADR process and the decision is made, then it's backed by law.
It's binding?
It's binding.
Okay.
You can probably go on to appeal. But even, I think the law says that you cannot appeal against an ADR.
Sure. Yes. And so you'd say that this is not very exclusive to engineers. People who are watching us or who think that they would rather use ADR to resolve their contractual misunderstandings, they're welcome.
Yeah, they are welcome because the the list of arbitrators, the list of mediators, the list of adjudicators that we are going to publish will include people who are not necessarily in engineering.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
How much do you think this will be saving? The cost of arbitration, the cost of litigation and all of these things when challenges come up, especially in enforcing contracts. How much do you think that with this facility would be saving, especially in your industry?
Well,
no particular amount, but does it look like it will be a worthy cause? Yes,
when you have you see, the cost varies so much, and it depends on what kind of dispute you are having. Sometimes they are very small things, but somebody feels very strongly, and you need to help decide very quickly. The beauty is that if it's technical, and we have technical people sitting on the adjudication or on the arbitration, then they understand the area of engineering that the issue is coming from.
Okay.
So you don't need a lot of expert witnesses and all those things, because the arbitrators themselves, or you have somebody on the panel who understands those processes. And the right questions can be asked, and the resolution can be brought up very quickly. Calling out cost, I'm not too sure I can.
I agree.
Cost now,
I totally agree.
But it can be substantial.
Okay. That's a good way to start. It can be substantial. Well, I can only imagine the facility. I'm told that it's very beautiful.
Yes, it's beautiful. Actually, what we did was that we had a library.
Okay.
It was built like 50 years ago as part of our office structure engineering house at Roman Ridge. And of course, these days, when you had the old books and all those things, they are going out of vogue. So that means we have space. So we have to remodel the library space to create a GhIE library on the first floor and give the ground floor to the ADR Centre.
Okay.
It'll be beautifully remodeled, and you'll be pleased when you see you walk in.
These are engineers. I'm not surprised. It definitely will be beautiful. But I'll give you the final. Have your final message to people who are watching us, at least, and what they should do with this ADR Centre that the Ghana Institution of Engineering has come up with.
Before I finish, I spoke about remodeling the place.
Absolutely.
I just want to say a big thank you to the Volta River Authority, VRA. They fully sponsored the remodeling of the space to be used, and that shows the goodwill and the trust they have in us that we can do this business and do it well. Again, a little caution: you don't want to get into dispute to come to us. You need to write your contracts and prepare your contracts in a way that you can avoid the disputes. That's always the cheapest process to go. And this is to government. Go into projects that you can afford. Prepare the projects very well. Take your time. Make sure the projects are feasible. Make sure that there are budgets for the projects. And make sure that there are good engineers who are also supervising for you. And then you can be avoiding a lot of the disputes. But again, to all government agencies, to private sector agencies who are writing contracts as we speak now, we are open for business and we are credible, just like multimedia.
That's very refreshing and comforting to hear, President.
Please come to us, name us in your documents, and we'll provide you a good service.
I'm quite certain that people would rather have this route than want to go through all the cumbersome judicial system in this country. But thank you so much for throwing more light on this. I had a great conversation with your team last week, but even better this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're watching the AM show. Please stay just a little more minutes. We shall wrap the show.
Thank you.